Hello there, welcome to the June 2018 paper. Here we're looking at question 2. So the cubic equation, z cubed minus 3z squared plus z plus 5 equals 0, has roots alpha, beta and gamma. Without solving the equation, find the cubic equation whose roots are 2 alpha plus 1, 2 beta plus 1, 2 gamma plus 1, giving your answer in the form of w cubic, where p, q and r are integers to be found. So what we're effectively doing here is we want to turn alpha into 2 alpha plus 1, beta into 2 beta plus 1, and gamma into 2 gamma plus 1. What we effectively do is we want to create roots for w, where we take 2 times the z root and add 1. So this is a general formula that can turn our z roots, we put them into this little formula here, and we get our w roots. Now what I'm going to do here, I'll show you why in a second, is I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. So subtract the 1 on the other side, divide by the 2, and now I've got a link of z in terms of w. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this into this cubic equation up here, and then that will give me an equation in terms of w that will have this property on its roots. So the first thing is going to be w minus 1 over 2 cubed minus 3 lots of w minus 1 over 2 squared plus w minus 1 over 2 just the power of 1 plus 5 equals 0. Now in these kinds of questions here, we need to just expand all the brackets and simplify it and make sure we've got no fractions on our cubic polynomial. So that's what I like to deal with first. I like to deal with the fractions, so I'm going to expand all the fractions. So I'm just going to leave the top as w minus 1 cubed, but I'm going to cube the 2 on the bottom of this fraction here, so 2 cubed is 8. Minus 3 lots of w minus 1 squared, and then square the 2 on the denominator, so that'll be over 4, plus w minus 1 over 2, and then plus 5 equals 0. So I'm now going to multiply both sides of this equation by 8 to get rid of all of my denominators. So on the first term, that's going to be nice and straightforward, w minus 1 cubed. On the second term, it's going to be a little bit more tricky because we're timesing this whole term here by 8. We've already got a 4 on the bottom, so that's effectively only going to multiply it by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, and then minus 1w squared. Divide by 2 but times by 8, so that'll multiply it by 4, w minus 1, and then we plus, and don't forget to times the 5 by 8, plus 40. That's the bit I always forget to do that. I'm glad I remembered to do it in this little video. So now let's expand all the brackets. So I'm going to use a bit of binomial expansion to expand this cubic quickly. It's going to be w cubed minus 3w squared plus 3w minus 1, and then it's going to be minus 6w squared. Then it's going to be inside the bracket here, it's going to be plus 2w, but times the minus 6, so that'll make it, so it'll be minus 12w minus the, sorry, not minus 12, minus 2w, but then times the minus 6, that'll be plus 12w now. And then it'll be 1 here, so times by the 6, that'll make it minus 6. And then it'll be plus 4w minus 4, and then plus 40 equals 0. So let's simplify all of this. Let's do the w squared first. W squared, so the w cubed first. So that's w cubed minus 3w squared minus another 6w squared, so that'd be minus 9w squared. On the w, it's just going to be 3w plus another 12w, that's 15w, plus another 4w, that's 19w. And then on the numbers, it's just going to be 1, so minus 1, minus 6, that's minus 7, minus 4, that'll be minus 11, but then plus 40, so that'll make it plus 29 equals 0. So there we are, that's the answer for question 2. That's 5 marks for this question here. Let's now move on to question 3.